People may know that you can live a long time if you have HIV, but you still have certain people who think that it's a death sentence. And to me, if someone is infected with HIV, it's no different than them just having a regular obstacle. And it's not about catching HIV, it's about what that individual do when they come across the virus. And I feel like even if we're not infected with HIV, we may be infected with poverty, we may be infected with having a broken home, we may be infected with a learning disability, so things may slow us down, but we only stop ourselves. So it's no different with HIV. The two stories I'm explaining is based on true stories. They are not made up. And there's three things I'm talking about. First, the reason why they put themselves at risk, which means how they got it, what was their mindset when they had it, and then what did they do when they found out they was infected with HIV, because there is life after HIV. So y'all ready to hear it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Now, I've seen the sun shine after the rain. Plus, I've seen the wound heal after the scorching pain. Now, there was a young lady by the name of Sabrina who was not at high risk for HIV because she was only with one man. She planted her seeds in one field. So when she found out she was infected with HIV, she felt that it was a fictional result. Couldn't be real. But it was because of her husband. Or should I say the prideful heart of her husband. He was the one that gave her the infection, and he showed no remorse or affection. Didn't even want to get tested himself, or at least give Sabrina a confession. Well, because of that, the husband helped his felon. The breath of death is what his body's inhaling. And his kids have many questions about daddy's health. But out of respect, Sabrina just tells them that daddy is ill, he just needs the doctor's help. Well, I guess that wasn't enough because he died. And all I got to say is, God, please have mercy on this lustful flesh. So now he's dead. And everybody's sitting around waiting for Sabrina to die, gossiping, saying that Sabrina's next. But one day when Sabrina was saying her prayers full of tears, God brought to her attention that he has lives over AIDS. He has decision over lives. Not this disease called AIDS. AIDS would not be a master and she would not be a slave. She's been living with this disease for over 25 years, and she has seen all of her kids grow into adults. She lived life like any other normal person and handled oppression with no help. She doesn't even look infected, looking good as ever. Found a job in the field and now she's a go-getter. Going to different facilities, speaking about her story. She's going to continue and live and prosper. She has no worries. So killing these sayings that say HIV will leave her death infested because she's doing better than those that are not even infected. Because there is life after HIV. And this is based on a true story. So if she can do it, so can we. See, HIV doesn't attack us. We have the intelligence to keep this virus out of our bodily residence. Metaphorically, when we do come across the virus and it tries to screw us, we must remain celibate. There was a man named Marvin, and in his home when he was growing up, love was not the discussion because his own father walks out on him. His own mother neglects him emotionally. So he's already growing up thinking there's no one he can be trusted. And people is judging him, but every time he tries to find a way out, no one holds the right information. He keeps trying to find love, but instead he keeps finding lust through sexual penetration. So HIV has caught up with him. And now it's eating at his cells. His time is limited. He was living with HIV for a very long time, and the reason why I wrote it, because a lot of people think that HIV is a death sentence. And it's not. And to me, being infected with HIV is no different than dealing with an obstacle in your life.
Okay.
We may not be infected with HIV, but we may be infected with depression. We may be infected with the recession. We may be infected with having a broken home. We may be infected with having a learning disability. But things may slow us down, but we only stop ourselves. So with this poetry piece, Life After HIV, is two parts. It's based on a true story. Y'all ready to hear it?
Yes.
Now I've seen the sun shine after the rain. And I've seen the healing of a deep wound after the scorching pain. Now, there was a lady by the name of Sabrina who was not at high risk for HIV because she was only with one man. She planted her seeds in one field. So when she found out she was infected with HIV, she felt this was a fictional result. It couldn't be real. But it was because of her husband. Or should I say the prideful heart of her husband. He was the one that gave her the infection, and he showed no remorse or affection. Didn't even want to get tested himself or at least give Sabrina a confession. Where the husband health is felt. The breath of death is what his body's inhaling. And Sabrina's kids have many questions about daddy's health. But out of respect, Sabrina just tells them that daddy is ill. He just needs the doctor's help. But it wasn't enough because he died. And all I keep saying is, God, please have mercy on his lustful flesh. So now he's dead. Everybody's sitting around waiting for Sabrina to die, gossiping, saying Sabrina's next. So Sabrina makes plans for who is going to raise her kids, what money to leave them, because they say Sabrina's not going to live. But God has control over lives. Not this disease called AIDS. She will not let AIDS be the master, and she will not be the slave. She's been living with this disease for over 25 years, and she has seen all of her kids grow into adults. She lived life like any other normal person that handled oppression with no help. She doesn't even look infected, looking good as ever. Found a job in the field, and now she's a go-getter. Going to different facilities, speaking about her story. She's going to continue and live and prosper. She has no worry. So killing these sayings that say HIV will leave her death infested because she's doing better than those that are not even infected. Because there is life after HIV. This is based on a true story. So if she can do it, so can we. See, HIV doesn't attack us. We have the intelligence to keep this virus out of our bodily residence. Metaphorically, when we do catch the virus and it tries to screw us, we must remain celibate. There was a young man named Marvin, and growing up in his home, love was not the discussion. His own father walks out on him. His mother neglects him emotionally. So now he's growing up thinking there's no one that he can be trusted. And people keep judging him, but he keeps trying to find the right way out, but no one is holding the right information. He keeps trying to find love, but instead he keeps finding lust through sexual penetration. So now HIV is caught up with him. And now it's eating at his cells. His time is limited. He wondering will his destination be heaven or hell. But instead of depressing himself, he makes a change. Instead of dying, he kills his old self and he is no longer the same. He's been living with this disease for over 15 years and he has become an inspiration. To live with something like that for that long, better yet, I'll call him the motivation, the Red Sea. We even underground railroaded slave masters as they had us locked in chains and they held them freedom keys. And when we escaped, we had them looking for us in them hot southern woods at night as they squinched their eyes like Japanese. But that's the past. Let me tell you how we survive in the present. We made away from the Great Depression. We saved pennies through any recession. Father raised kids on his own without mom's blessings. Mother supported her kids by herself when those kids asked those fatherly questions. Now I want y'all to think about something. Because where most of us came from, they gave us AIDS. They gave us poverty. They gave us dirty cops. They gave us hooded cages with no locks. They even gave us CIA presidential infested Southeast Asia drugs and put it on our blocks. But this is the same area where the most smart, talented, and intelligent people come from, whether they want to admit it or not. And they teach us a 6th grade education as teenagers. But we still living with intelligence. HIV patients living for over 25 years. We ain't never death settled. Because our survival is like umbrellas to rain. We are the healed wounds from the world pain. We are now a new mind and is clean from the poverty stain. Do the math. It's funny how they try to add us all up, then subtract us, but they can't divide us. If anything, they multiply us because we God-trained soldiers, we survivors. Because we living in a life of genocide. Because they put us in unlivable conditions of suicide. Try to turn us into endangered species, but we still survive. And the youth, they don't even give the youth enough resources to make it past the 10th grade. But I know some youth who still got promise as they work hard and educate themselves because they refuse to be failure slaves. And we conquer pain every day as we conquer and witness a lot of dead bodies going in the grave. And we have health problems daily with no proper health care, but we still beat death daily, we hella brave. And we create financial miracles with little to no job and just living off minimum wage. This ain't a phase, it's survival life. Let me give y'all got jobs to go to, jobs to get, and important places to go. And the buses want to act up, don't want to come on time, and they want to come late. But they was all right. They would catch a cab, catch a ride, they would walk. They was going to get where they need to get from the day to the night. And I've seen them when their car break down and all transportation fails, they would get a bike. See, this is the type of mode they have living a survival life. So what's the point of me dwelling on my anger and my depression? I got to let life run this course. It's a survival life. As crazy as it may sound, I love the struggle. I love the hustle. Because it makes me strong. I don't need my life to be 100% flawless. That's the problem. Some people had it easy their whole life. So when they get hit with hard times, they can't focus. They can't independently think. They can't cope with losses. But see, I know that everything we're going through is just part of God's ultimate plan. Because when we make it out of this, that lady will be a better woman and I will be a better man. And that's why I can look at them haters in their face and stand my grounds and tell them I ain't leaving. And that's why every time they try to suffocate our resources, we still breathing. Because it's survival life. This your boy Isaiah the Prophet, a.k.a. Underrated. Thank y'all for listening.